starting?
Okay.
Hey, hi.
Hello, welcome to another
welcome.
episode of Tzuzamen
Yeah, hi,
Tzipi.
Tzili. But wait a minute. Before we even introduce you, we are here every week. We are called Tzuzamen. Tzuzamen is together. And we do it because we need inspiration. You see? We are looking, he all the time is going to relate to his wife, right? But never mind.
No, because your face, oh, now she removed it. It said this meeting is being recorded and I couldn't see your lovely faces.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. So I just want to tell you that we invited you to be inspired. So just so you will know.
We're just here to enjoy your company.
And have fun.
So let's tell everybody who you are. So first of all, we have Bruce Gilden. Bruce Gilden is a photographer, well-known photographer. Are you from the beginning of Magnum? A very well-known mythological group of photographers, right? Bruce? Yes.
Okay.
We cannot see the black of his eyes. I cannot see your black.
Anyway, Bruce
I cannot see the black of your eyes. Can you put your glasses a bit up so I can see you? Oh, wow.
It's the blue of his eyes.
It's the blue of his eyes.
Bruce is a great photographer. He published photography books. He's photographing people everywhere. He's photographing models everywhere. He has stories from
How come
here
he didn't come to me?
I have no idea.
We'll figure it out later.
And Kaduri, we have Kaduri. Kaduri,
it's a ball in Hebrew. Kaduri.
Kaduri is a ball in Hebrew. Kaduri is my ball.
Okay.
And Kaduri is an art director, and this team worked together a lot. They just finished a whole session with few skinny girls in New York.
Skinny girls, right? That's why we were not invited.
Eat only lettuce and cucumbers, maybe if they go wild.
They don't.
Yeah, but wait. We also had a bodybuilder in pink underwear.
That's true. That's true.
You don't have a choice now. You have to also use the women like us.
Yeah, no.
I know. We don't lick that lettuce. We just.
Bruce, tell us a few words about Magnum a little bit, and then we'll just continue.
I think you're asking the wrong person.
Why? Just few words. I won't tell Shannon.
You could tell Shannon anything. I don't care. I don't hide behind. I'm very blunt. It's funny because I didn't become a nominee at Magnum till I was about 51 or 52 years old.
Just before they just explain what Magnum is, because I don't think everybody
knows.
It's
a photo cooperative. Obviously, I'd say it's the best in the world for documentary and journalistic photographers. Okay, it was started by Robert Capa, Cartier-Bresson, David Seymour, and George Raja. And it's funny, we're the same age. Their 75th anniversary is coming up in June, and Magnum was named after a bottle of champagne, the Magnum, you know. And
you speak alcohol and I speak
ice cream.
Magnum ice cream.
Well, there are other things that are Magnum too, you know.
Yeah. Sure.
But yes, of course. But the thing is, it's amazing that it's lasted 75 years. We're a very contentious group. I would say at this point, I'm an outlier there because, you know, most of their views are not, my views are not the same as theirs.
You will have to tell us about the views, the vision.
Well, I'm not getting into the views, okay? It's not really meant to be discussed. But the thing is, I think for my part, I have 75 years of experience. I'm very streetwise. And like Kaduri says, I have a lot of seichel. So I think, you know,
is wisdom, not brain, wisdom.
Yeah, I have wisdom, okay? And, you know, there's always been two parts to the agency. There's been a journalistic part and an artistic documentary part. So the two sides probably never see alike, but now
they both are supposed to seek the truth.
Yeah, but what's the truth? The truth is different for everybody, you know? So, I mean, I would shy away from the word truth because my truth is not your truth necessarily, okay? Like someone said, one of the photographers in Magnum, as a matter of fact, I was joking with him and he said to me, do you walk in my shoes? And when somebody says that to you, yeah, there's no response because each one walks in their own shoes. Right. So But, you know, I say
this is Bruce. Exactly. This is Bruce. These kind of things. This is.
No, I like the expression. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, and that's very funny because I've been photographing motorcycle groups for the last 2 years, mostly black. And just out of the blue, last weekend or the weekend before, somebody used that same expression to me. I was flabbergasted because that would be the second time I've ever heard it. And
first time for your parents?
No, the first time from Joseph Kudelka told me in my house when I was joking with him, the photographer. And he said that to me. And once, you know, when someone says that to you, you have no response. I mean, because we're all different. Mm-hmm. Some of us are smarter than others. Some are less smart.
But you know, we'll not go into it, but there is, I hope there is some objective truth in terms of right and wrong.
Yeah, but there are things that are right and there are things that are wrong. But, you know, a lot of people don't realize that the world is beyond where they come from. You know, there's another entity out there besides, you know, growing up here and looking at things this way. Okay. I've been fortunate enough, as have many of the Magnum photographers, to be in, I've been in about 70 countries, and there's some guys that have been in 200 countries. So, you know, if you've had an experience where you see that people live differently than you know, that's so valuable because.
But still, Bruce, what did you find everybody has in common from all these countries?
They breathe.
They breathe.
That's what I'm agreed. You know, in the end is also, if we're talking about Bruce, is every kind of fear finding another subject behind what he's shooting all the time, and he's very addicted to it, like the bike now. So explain them, you're traveling, he's meeting people. It's people that in the beginning they don't want them to let closer to them, and then they get in friends and all this. He's a very special person. He's very total, and people love him because of that.
And well, look, very blunt and very much in your face, so it's very hard to block it.
But listen, we all have but we all have the same emotional codes. You know, at the end of the day, we all have the same emotional codes. It's just whether we use it or not. So
can you explain that statement to me?
Well, like a piano, you have a chord for being sad, a chord for being passionate, a chord for being jealous.
Oh, okay, chord. Okay, chord. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know English? You speak English, right? Chord.
Not much.
But
okay. Stop telling me I don't speak English.
Well,
no. I'm not saying you don't speak. I'm not saying you don't speak English. But if you want me to respond to your question, I have to make sure I did understand the word.
Chord, like chord, piano chord.
Yeah. Okay, but you know that statement for me rings a little hollow because. Just because we have the same chords, how do we use those chords?
That's right. I say.
Let's say, I'd say a lot of successful people are selfish, and you know, but how are you selfish? Okay, and are you going to help? Are you going to help the downtrodden? You know, I've always identified with the underdogs. Okay, I've always identified with the downtrodden. You know, and for me, I'm not saying I've done a lot for them. I haven't. You know, I'm not claiming to have done all these great acts, you know, so maybe I don't even have a right to speak. But I try to show them as I see them. And I'm photographing myself at all times. Okay, so they're me. I'm them. So.
But Bruce, you have very strong personality, and you run around and you catch faces and you like to take photos of many people. What attracts you at these people, and why a certain person and not the other one?
Well, like if you want to look at this one here.
Well, yeah.
Well, look, I'm an intuitive photographer. Okay, these portraits, the face portraits, everyone was asked in the picture. Okay, because I'm a Libra. And it has to be a certain way. The form has to be good. Even in a candid picture, the form has to be good with a strong emotional context, okay? So now, when I saw him in the Midlands. This is a new book that's coming out next month.
Right.
I will buy it.
The one, well, this one has a print in it. It's got a metal cover. And
but just raise it up because I cannot see what it says at the bottom. Raise it up. No, the cover. The cover.
The cover doesn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Neither cover. Oh, my finger. Sorry, no. Okay, so let me.
Open it.
I'll walk you through the process.
This is one of how many books you have?
I have about 26 or 27. Okay, but the thing is,
Wow.
well, there are people in my agency that have done 120. But the thing is, I have to say, well, just leave that picture there.
Yes.
Now that's a tough picture. Okay, when I saw the man, I wanted to photograph him because, first of all, to me, he was wearing shorts. He had very thin legs. I have a feeling that he's dying, you know, that he might have cancer, okay? And I guess most of us, at least I am afraid to die. You know, I don't want to face that moment, okay? Because I'm looking forward what I can do next week or what have you. But the thing is, and I talked to him for 20 minutes, and then I envisioned he would talk to me all day. Because, you know, what people don't realize, some people who are critical of who I work with or how I work, you know, and you know, I think that's ridiculous. It's not how you work, it's what you have inside that counts. But the thing is, with him, I felt that when I left him, he's going to go back to his room, watch a little black and white television, be so sad, so unhappy. I paid attention to him. You know, he's lonely, and he looks like that. To me, is about death. Okay,
Right. And haunted.
It's really strong portrait, and it's a beautiful portrait, okay, yes. Because it captures who I feel the person is, okay. Yes. It also talks about my feelings about death, okay, because I'm afraid to die, okay. As tough as I am, I'm a baby about certain things. So, but my things are, I see something, I'm intuitive, okay, and then I photograph it. So what I've learned, now that's another one that's interesting, because this book is called Black Country, okay? They're all taken in the Midlands in England on a commission. And what I asked her, can I photograph you? She said yes. I can't tell how old she is. She might be 40 years old, 45. You know, she lived a tough life, I'm sure. And she asked me, can she see the picture? And
she can see the picture from the camera.
Yeah, and I showed her the picture, and I said, "What do you think?" She said, "I'm beautiful." Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting because, you know, I know what the encounter was like between us. You have a lady here that had one, and if you look at the details, you know, you can figure this out. Yes. You have a lady that, even though she's seen a lot better days, she still tries to put a lipstick on in a certain way, even though it's smeared. She's got lipstick up here, okay? And nobody pays attention to her. So, you know, and this is why people like her, I don't want to comment really on it, but, you know, things don't get better for, you know.
I think I work with so many photographers in my life. I think Bruce is the photographer that don't need to find it, the things find him. And really, I say it like I work with more than 200 photographers all over the world, and he has something magic inside of him that the really things find in him. The way he explained now about the lipstick exactly in the front head, you know, and every woman passed this kind of thing that the lipstick come here, but he find it and it exists for him after, with the meaning about beauty, about the way you represent him yourself, about the fact that no one don't give you attention, and this is mark of attention, you know, and people, there are people that can see it and there are people that cannot see it. And this is the totality and the things that he have inside of him, like a magic inside of a photography, because when you look about portrait like this, you cannot stop to look at this so long time, because you're finding everything inside of it. You find yourself inside of it. You find in the way he talk about as you're scared to death. You find in what I'm feeling about myself.
They have the soul in the eyes, both of them.
Well, that's the important thing for me, is the eyes.
Yeah, and the soul is there.
I have to say that I've learned so much in the last 6 or 7 years about face portraiture. I mean, I knew a lot before, okay? The bones were there, but I've learned all the details. I've learned that if you have a heavy bone structure here, you don't see the eyeballs as much. You know, the shape of the face is important, okay? You know, you can have everything, but if one thing is off, it's impossible or very hard to do a very good.
I think what you refer to is the soul, because the soul and the self-image that a person sees himself that's what you can see.
Yeah, but let me tell you something else, because he keeps on
Can you
turning.
put your glasses up? I want to see the blue of your eyes. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you. I will
All right.
remind you.
Okay, don't worry. So now this guy, we were in Wolverhampton, which is, I think it was Wolverhampton. Was it Wolverhampton, Sophie, where I was? You were there.
Maybe.
It doesn't
You're
matter.
missing the beautiful Sophie.
Okay, so anyway.
Sophie's
no, not
Bruce's
Dudley.
wife. Sophie's Bruce's wife. Yeah.
Yes.
Descendants.
So the thing is, I saw him from the car. So we stopped the car. We got out. You know, we talked to him. He had some story about that he was beaten up by these
Yes.
kids. We don't know if it's true or not. You know,
Looks like he was beaten up.
yeah, but he also could have fallen down drunk. So, I mean, I don't take what everybody says at face value. So the thing is, I'm just going to give you a little, well, I don't want to call it a lesson, but in portraiture, okay? So.
Yes, we want to know.
Okay, so let me explain. I talked to him. He didn't have the intensity in the eyes, okay? So I asked him, can you look to the side? And then also, he had one tooth. So I said, why don't you show the tooth, okay? This way it gives a little more character. Now, those two things are not necessarily a formula for success, okay? Because I remember my assistant at the time, who was a very good photographer. One time we're photographing someone, one of my better portraits, I think it was at the Iowa State Fair, and I think it's called Terry, if anybody wants to look it up. And, you know, he's got a very tough and interesting looking face. And he was also had one tooth, okay? And my assistant said, why don't you show the tooth? I said, no, because the tooth would make it more like a caricature. Right. So all these pictures are, you know, they can't be a caricature for them to be successful, okay?
Did you see the only tooth when he was with his mouth closed? Or only you saw the tooth when it was open?
I'm not a dentist or a mind reader, no, but he showed his tooth, so.
He showed you, okay.
No, but the thing is.
It's like you're playing with your tongue, you know?
Yeah, but you see, you have to be fast enough and quick enough thinking to pick up those things and to be in control of your medium, okay?
Right.
For example, people are amazed that people who don't know me or don't know what I'm capable of, I mean, they would probably be amazed that I've done about 100 fashion jobs. I've done the lookbook for Gucci. I've done ads for Dolce & Gabbana. I'm doing Balenciaga again in May in 2 weeks. I've done backstage of Balenciaga in Paris, you know, last July. So the thing is, somebody, I don't necessarily agree with the comment, but somebody made the comment that in my street pictures, I make the people look worse than they are. And in my fashion, I make them look more beautiful. So, I mean, everything has a place, okay? When I'm working, I've always been amazed that all these great minds, the editors, you know, which I don't consider having very great minds, most of them. There are some very good ones, but most don't have much courage or much vision. But the thing is, and I'm blunt, I'm not afraid to say it, you know, the thing is, they don't realize that when you look at a picture, if I do pictures like I do, I can do the person smiling. I mean, anybody can do a person smiling. Yeah. So do you like the form of the picture? Do you like the lighting? Okay, that's what's important, okay, if you're looking to hire me. But my whole life, I did pictures never for the money. I've done it, you know, for what's in my soul. Mm-hmm. And
this is your lucky.
But I want to take you to the other side of it, because I want to take you to the work that you do together. When you as a pair working on a photograph with models or with other characters, what are you looking to do together and how?
And what is the dialogue?
What is the dynamic?
I have to hear his answer because go ahead, Kaduri, and then
I think because I work with so many fashion photographer in my life and so many other photographer. And when you have something that you need to make it artificial, you know, you need to take a girl as a model, and then you need to dress her, you need to make up her. Sometimes they choosing for you exactly if you do a client, like we do one time, Saint Laurent together, Yves Saint Laurent together. We do special Yves Saint Laurent in Brooklyn. This is the first time that we work together. So we have the collection, that, and you need to deal with things that you are not choosing. It's not only a fantasy, you know, you're trying to create. And what happened in this day, we travel in Brooklyn, and the girls feel very comfortable with Bruce in this moment, and we create a very natural way scene inside of in all this area. We go in to hair salon, we ask the person that is the hairstylist to wash her hair, and that's what we do, and Bruce take a picture. So I understand what Bruce have inside of him, like in this moment, and I come to work with Bruce. I want to take Bruce to the fashion. So the fashion is not the issue in this moment. I'm taking the DNA of the photographer, and I'm trying to use it for the result that we want to create. And this is the Bruce. And like I say before, the Bruce have something that every kind of girl look good with him. Sometimes don't need to try to create something because it so exists, is operating the person. He show all the personality from inside outside, with the eyes, with the expression, with everything. And this is working. I think we have a new issue we do together before 3 months ago, and we have poster in all Paris. We shoot 3 models, older models like 50, 60, and it's be in all Paris. They glue it in all Paris, and everybody start to stole the poster from the wall, and people don't stop to looking about this portrait. It's like when you're looking about the portrait that we showed before, people standing on the street and looking, because everybody feel connect with that, you know, feel connected, looking at the people that you have a dialogue, like you're looking like a real person, and you look in the eyes and you see the personality inside, like you're talking to the image. And this is what Sophie, my love. So this is the portrait.
Yeah, but I think the best one is the one hanging on
the one for Brooklyn.
This is a girl. Just a second, I just explain. This is Daphne. She's a very top model beauty that do many years campaign of Chanel beauty and all that. And what is nice with Bruce photography, if you see the hair jumping from the face, and she's not a hairy girl, but everything is like a telescope. You see everything, you know, everything. And when you see a famous model with aesthetic, with like today, with all the filter and all the retouch, and when you're looking at something like
open it up. It's not open.
So this is Giselle. She's a top model in the 90s, early 80s and early 90s. She's the first girl, I think, in the fashion industry that show a big nose. She'd be very proud of it, you know. She's original Lebanonic. She's from Brazil, but her parents come from Lebanon, and you know, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and that's all.
Guys, this is the Photoshop that you did in Brooklyn in the playground,
yes,
right?
When you come to visit us,
right.
Yes.
I have to say that this, we're talking about elderly models, and the way these two mush them and play with them in a very natural way, and you get to a very unusual positions. And
yeah, but look at the first one.
And it comes out so strong and so beautiful.
Give me the first one again. So the first one, what's your intent when you schmooze the lipstick to the side?
That's Kaduri.
Say it again.
That's Kaduri.
So what happened?
Okay, so what's your intent? There is an intent behind it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I say, in one point, you know, I trust Bruce so much. I trust his photography so much. And when I have a moment that I want to break the rules inside of beauty, like the lips here, you know, I don't want the lips to be perfect. So I tell the girl, do that. And she do that for herself.
You remind me of Godard. You know that Godard told his, after his DP was composing, Godard said, just take it a little bit to the side. Make it dirty. Don't make it. Yeah.
But you see, let me now speak about what I think of Kaduri.
Oh my God.
Not much. No, seriously. I'm kidding. No, I think he's, I'm very critical, okay, of myself and others. And it's really a pleasure to work with him, because what I find, where I could be a little weak, he's strong. And I think where he's weak, I'm strong.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we have a we have a very good, we complement each other. For example, let me explain myself, all right? I don't do much thinking about this, okay? We're in an empty room in your building, okay? Now, if you stuck me in there, I would be probably sucking my thumb for 24 hours. And what the fuck am I going to do here, right? So the thing is, I have Kaduri who thinks about it, gets it done, and does a great job. Now, and I think one of his strengths, at least for me, is whether smearing the lipstick or letting the girl smear a lipstick or something, or scribbling on the glass in the window the last time, or this time with the weightlifter, with the bodybuilder, with the pink shorts that you saw, and he made the girl white face, like something, the Joker out of Batman. So he adds something to the whole mix that other people who don't have the courage or the talent to do, he does, okay? So
he takes you somewhere else.
He makes my job easier, okay? Because look, sometimes when something's boring, it's boring, okay? I'm best when I see something and I feel it and I do it. When you're working on a job, and that doesn't only entail fashion, anything, you have to do that person, you know, that model, that person, that whoever in this environment, okay? So he has a talent of making something that could potentially be quite boring or uninteresting or ordinary. Maybe that's a better word, ordinary. He makes it, he puts white face on them, like he scrubbed out her eyebrow the other day, you know, I mean, and I notice all these details because for me, what makes a good photograph is what's in the details, okay? The details are the most important thing in the photograph.
But this you cannot do with everyone.
No.
And we know it.
But you know, that's the thing, because you know each other well. And when Kaduri...
But we didn't know each other in the beginning.
No, but you learn quickly, because when Kaduri is trying to do something, he knows he feels who the photographer is, so he knows how to lean towards. And when you see how Kaduri works, you know exactly how to go. And that's why it goes so smooth.
No, but he said an interesting thing to me on the phone, okay? He said to me before the last shoot, this is going to be the best shoot of all. And I've said to myself, holy shit, I got 7 models. He wants group pictures. I don't like to do group pictures of models necessarily because they just don't look as good, which we proved, okay? But the thing is, the shoot is the best shoot of the 3 shoots.
Right.
Because of what he did, and I'm also able to realize that.
It's like Anna Winter. She always says that the next cover is going to be the best one.
Yeah, but it's not always true.
But you know, you made me. But you know, but what you did, it's always when people come and take pictures of us, right? We are trying to protect the image. We want you to look at us. Like,
of course.
What image do I want? I want you to look at the image I want you to see. Now, the people before you showed us, those underprivileged people, they cannot even think about it. Models, what you did, you didn't let them project what they want to project. There was something in this intent.
That's a very interesting point, okay? And let me address that, okay? And I'm addressing that with no thought to your statement, okay? I'm just addressing it from what's inside me.
Yeah.
Okay. I have in the biker book that's coming out in October, they always like to pose for you, and most of my pictures aren't posed, okay? They're mostly candid. But I have one great portrait of them posing. I did nothing. And they just align themselves in the best way with all kind of hand signals like this, like that, you know, everything. And it's a beautiful picture. And so you can let people do their thing, okay? But I think the trick for me in photography is to not let them do their thing.
Right.
Because I don't want, they're in my movie, okay? Right. I'm the director, okay? I'm the one.
I love it.
I see something and that's what I want. Right. When I ask somebody, can I take your portrait, right? Right away when I pick the camera up, I look through the camera and sometimes I say to someone, you know, you're too beautiful or you don't have enough intensity in your eyes. So that's it. I'm not going to waste your time and I'm not going to waste mine.
Wow, you're telling the truth?
Of course I do. Yes.
Well, you don't say you have a problem, mechanical problem with your camera?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing. What he
Yeah,
said.
but it no. Well,
I don't say that you're ugly or anything. I said you're too beautiful, or you just don't have the intensity in the eyes. So
Absolutely.
there's also another thing in relation to the portraits. Once in a while, you see a person that you say, wow, all this person has to do is say yes. I mean, I call it, I don't want to use the word killer, but okay, it's the killer portrait. You know,
Yeah.
that the person says, yes, you got it, okay?
right.
Generally, that's few and far between, but you know they have it all, okay? That's it. And it's, to do a good portrait is a bond between you and the person you're taking the picture of. If they're not interesting or you're uninteresting, it doesn't work. Okay, what do you got
I
there?
bring more books.
Oh, more books. Okay, he's getting books.
Great.
But so I don't agree. Certain people can project and you let them project. Like I had one guy when I started doing portraits, he was in Miami. He's a Cuban and the street is named after him and he owns a restaurant there. And I didn't know how powerful he was, okay, but he looks like a used car salesman. And, I almost say every time I look at the picture, I said, would you buy a car from this guy? But, I let him be himself. But as I've grown more and more into the portraits, I take more and more control because I know what works and I know what doesn't. Now, that's another interesting thing about photography. In the beginning, you experiment more. So you're open to more things, okay? The older you get and the more involved you get and the more you think you're so wonderful sometimes, not all the time, you are controlling. So you know what works, you know what doesn't work, okay? But however, you have to let that little child in sometimes, okay? And you surprise yourself. The little child comes in and the little child makes this really good picture, which is quite different than what you do ordinarily.
Right. What drives you, Bruce?
What drives me?
Yeah.
To not fail.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I am surprised. I thought it's human compassion.
My father, no.
Oh my God.
I'm it's about me.
Well, that's a very, very deep motivation.
Yeah. My father always told me I wasn't good enough. So I'm still proving him that I'm good enough.
It's always the fathers. Okay.
Kaduri, what drives you?
He's innocent. He's more innocent.
Freedom, just freedom.
Freedom, huh?
Yeah, and learning. I'm learning every day.
No, but you see, like Sophie says to me, that's my wife, that, I'm not great with words. I'm a very good storyteller. I should have a great show on television. I know, because I'm interesting. Yes. I can talk about so many things and I'm very open.
By the way, you need to do documentary movie together.
No, why don't we? Why don't we do a documentary about you?
So yes, let's do it. But no.
When I come back in I take all the equipment from NYU. I'm a professor at NYU at Tisch. I can get all the equipments and I can get the crew, the student, to come and do a documentary about you.
That'll be fine.
Why don't we think about it?
But Kaduri has to do the art.
But there is one problem, right? You are one of those cases that you put the camera on you and just let you talk for an hour. We don't need more.
Right.
I mean,
but I'm serious.
I'm
really serious. I think you need to do something together.
Okay, let's do it.
We have here history of America, history of Japan, history of so many things. Every face here have a story behind it. Is a person that know the story of the person behind. Thousands of people from all over the world.
I wish you would let us do it.
What I'm asking you, beyond the success and freedom, I want to know what drives you, because you have a point of view of looking at things and what you want to grab.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to address that now.
Right.
And to me, I'm always for the underdog, because I always looked at myself as an underdog. Okay. I didn't have confidence. It's funny, when you grow up, you don't realize these things. Okay. My parents, I'm not going to get into my past. My mother committed suicide and all these other things that happened in my life, that no child should know. Okay. I knew, and I never said a word until, the only time I ever spoke about things was when they were in the grave. But, and it hurt. I hurt so much. and there was so much inside me, and there was no, I wasn't an autistic child. You know, I couldn't draw a straight line with a ruler. I was a good athlete. I a lot of energy, okay, probably so unhappy, but, and a loner type, and relatively good looking, but yet I could never, you know, even though I was a good basketball player, they didn't choose me for the basketball team. Even though I was a good baseball player, I didn't make the baseball team, you know, and I deserved those things, okay? You know, I played outside sports, but the thing is, I think I've always rooted for the underdog, you know, people on the periphery. So at 5, I wanted to be a boxer because my father was a gangster type. I wanted to play the drums. I wanted a monkey, you know, all these, and I've never changed. I'm the same kid now at 75 that I was at 5. And that's why I always knew what I wanted to photograph.
And this is what I want to show, because this is, you can talk about 1 second to say about this book something.
Yeah, what? Yeah, what?
So for me, what is amazing when I see that, this one.
Well, let's see if he has good taste.
No, forget about the good taste now. When I show this kind of picture, and it's all about Japan, and this kind of picture and this kind of picture, it's the same person that shooting everywhere. Bruce is so strong, and he have something that it's never mind which culture. Again, it's come to him. It's his story. They are playing is in.
Yeah,
show.
they're in my story.
They are playing in each.
It's
show.
like
He don't go to Japan to shoot Japan. It's not.
But you know, it's like when I asked him what does he find in common between everybody. Basically, the way he films everybody becomes one. Because wherever you go, whoever you see and you photograph them, it's you.
Wow.
It's you.
Wow.
You bring them to your language. So it's
Of
one
course.
dialect for everybody.
How many years ago?
This was 1995 to 99. 30 years ago.
Oh, you are a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
The best.
Come on, this is every picture is a story. There is a plot there. There is a character there. There is a character background there. There is even a conflict. Look. Wow. This is amazing. It's one, if you look at it and all everything, the location, the way they,
Yeah, but you see, you know, a lot of photographers today, and years ago, I looked at every magazine, every book, I went to every show. Now I don't look at much because the pictures are too generic.
Right.
To me.
Each one is a different story here.
Nobody's talking about others.
No, but I'm talking about, but my stories, I have stories, yes, because I'm very cinematic photographer.
Yes, right.
You create all the kind of people, any kind of places in the world, the same person, the same teams coming from outside and have the outside, so strong. But
I should bring you to my class. I in the fall, I will ask you, even in Zoom, to come to my class. I just finished the last class. It was language of film.
That's my iconic picture of Japan. That's 2 Yakuza lighting the cigarette. That's in a coffee shop. You know, so.
Say the story again.
Okay. Well, I only spent I had a Zoom, I was on a Twitter conversation with NFT people yesterday, you know, so they asked me, well, how long did you spend with the Yakuza? I said, maybe 6 times 20 hours. They said, you got all those pictures in 6 times 20 hours? Yeah, I mean, because I work fast. But the thing is, with that one, the picture that he just showed you, I had dinner with an associate of theirs, and then he said, why don't you go over and photograph my 2 other friends? So they were in the coffee shop, and, you know, the guy lit the cigarette, and I said, can you hold it? I want to make sure I get it. So I took 6 pictures, and this is one of them. And he invited me to his house, but I'm such a character because he said his wife is a model. She just came back from Paris, from the shows. And I said, Rick, I don't have time. Instead of, you know, doing more with them and getting in, I so crazy about getting my pictures on the street that I didn't even pay attention. Now I would have accepted. And he's great because I saw him one time, they work in Ginza, okay, which is an affluent area. So he's about 5'6", and he was wearing a bright yellow suit, and he's wide like 3 times me, and he's an ex-boxer. See,
But
I can
look at
relate.
his eyes, you know, what you look at his eyes, not this one, the other one. It's amazing. I wonder what people see, because I see humor, I see entitlement, you know,
Well, look,
Tough.
and
my,
toughness, of course.
no, but you see, also, I have a very good character trait with all of these tough people, because I talk to them like I'm talking to you.
So then you
I
can
could
see the
say to him,
vulnerability.
I could say to him anything. And
Sure.
no one would have the courage to say what I say, because what I say is what I see. And what I see, you know, as long as it's presented in a proper way, I know if you're a real person, you're not going to have a problem with it. Okay.
Right.
And well, that's not a good picture. But
I like that. Yeah.
Also, there is a reflection there, so
Yeah.
it's hard to see. There is a reflection. So what is?
wait, let me show you 1 second. This is interesting because I have a picture of the motorcycle kids in Japan.
She has a son
Yeah,
who loves up Japan.
Hold it there. Okay.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
It's a very beautiful picture.
Yes.
And I wanted to photograph these guys till I died or until they died. So what happened was I had a girl who was a translator for me occasionally, who studied photography in America. So I told her, I spoke to her, I said, I'm back in Japan. Can you arrange that I can meet these guys again? And she tells me, well, they said their superiors said, you can't see them because they're doing a television show. So she stupidly said, I'll go over your head and I'll ask someone else. And I said, oh God, how did you say that? So that was the end of that idea. Because, in that society, you can't do that, especially if you're a woman. Even, when I photograph sometimes the Yakuza, I remember Yakuza, or there was a guy who supposedly was a Yakuza catcher. And I photographed him for Stern magazine. And I'm at this fancy Japanese hotel, very traditional, very expensive, very beautiful. And he would come, and I think he was a sword specialist. And, he's in good shape, like 65 years old, very powerfully built and everything, and very like this, and the guy who, I guess, sort of the concierge or someone or a higher position with a fancy coat and everything says, I think Mr. whatever his name was had enough. Wow. You didn't hear what this guy said to that guy. He said, when I say I have enough, I have enough.
Yeah.
You don't say. And I had the same experience with a Yakuza. One took me out to dinner, a guy who I was friendly with, and a guy said something, to him about our situation. And he fucking exploded at him. I mean,
you have to know the culture. Have you been in Israel?
No.
So when you come to Israel, no subtext. Everything that you see, this is it. You will
fit in well.
You will fit in really very well. Like every time you want to get something and you talk to a secretary and she doesn't give you what you want, can you please call your manager?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I do. The same thing.
Well, you are in Israel, you can come.
Yeah, because if I don't get the answer I want, then I want to speak to your superior.
This is how we grew up.
No, but that's how I grew up.
You need to talk together.
But in Israel, everybody is superior.
Yeah, everybody's a manager. Everybody's superior.
I want to show something again that I want to explain. Again, Japan. Okay. And
the same guy.
Yeah. And here I'm going to another book, New York, no?
Same.
I also like the way you use foreground and background.
Yeah.
And far background.
It's very important.
Very important.
I'll tell you a secret. It's not a secret. I've said it before, but if I had money, I probably would have become a filmmaker.
Why? Yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you. That was my question to you. Because I think I know
a documentary filmmaker.
Yes. I go by myself. I don't go with the crew. I have my own equipment. I just go for documentaries, and only I take an editor, usually first time. I cannot do it with feature films, but I was wondering why you don't do a documentary.
Well, I should, but look, to be quite honest with you,
Yes.
My whole life has been overcoming fears. Okay.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
go to,
One
I
more.
go to, no, but I overcome almost all my fears. Okay. When I was 5, they had to rush me to the hospital. I had a tracheotomy. I couldn't breathe. So they slit my throat open and, put a tube in or whatever. And I lived. So if someone were to grab my neck, I don't think the person would walk out of the room. I mean, it would be curtains for him. Okay. But my whole life is overcoming all my fears. Okay. Now, for example, I have a fear of technique. Okay. Now I know my technique. I'm not technically stupid. I'm smart technically, but I'm not the guy that walks in and says, well, okay, how many candles of light is that? And, that's not my thing. Okay.
Also not, yeah.
So the thing is, I think if somebody would teach me the rudiments, I would be willing to try it because
You'll try it after you know me, you'll try it. Because listen,
no,
I am
because
not a DP, and you look, I can send you one of my documentaries. You can see I'm not a DP, not a photographer. I don't have really depth of field. I do have quite a good eye for composition, but I don't really care. If I have a good story, and I'm going by myself, sound, picture, and if I can do it, there is a song like that. If I can do it, you can do. No, I don't know the song.
No.
Oh, you can do better. You can do better.
No. I believe that, and the thing, it's very, very interesting because in my agency now, they're not calling it Magnum photos anymore. They're calling it Magnum. Okay, so I have a feeling that's because
they open up for documentaries.
Yeah, but it goes a little deeper than that. Okay. I shouldn't.
You stay yourself. You shouldn't look right and left. Don't.
Be something else.
No. That's not what I'm going to say. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that when you do a bad photograph, okay, it's a bad photograph. Right. When you do a bad movie or not a very good movie, it's more than a bad photograph. Okay. In other words, if you put a camera in front of interesting people, people are going to look at it. They're going to respond to it. Okay. Whereas if you have an interesting person many times and you photograph them in an awkward or not a very interesting manner, people turn the page, so I think, I don't know if you read between the lines what I'm saying.
I think with the
level, it's just running away.
I think with the level of your patience, you should stick to photography.
I don't. I think he should go and take it.
The beat is different. The beat is different because you have a very specific beat, and I think you focus and you manage to get so much in one picture. And
no, but you see, you're missing one thing here. The thing is that I'm very patient. You heard what Sophie said. I was around those people for 25 minutes because I knew they would make a good picture for me. Right. Are they going to make a good picture for me? I don't know.
You need
but if you put me in a room with 100 people, I'll find the 1 or the 2 people that I can photograph. And that's why I got thrown out of 2 gypsy weddings, because 2 guys were drunk and I just stood there photographing them for 20 minutes. And they said, okay, boy, you're out. No, but the other thing is, I understand you make a good point about what you said in relation photography to film. But the other thing is, you can't do the same thing your whole life. Right. I have to either change places or I went from.
I'm telling you, you have to change the tune of your drum. You can make documentaries.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, that was wonderful. Talking about inspiration, Tzili.
Yeah.
We have a little argument here.
Where is your new book going to, where is it going to be?
Where can we get it?
Where they can get it?
I don't know. It's Setanta Books. It's in London. The guy was originally a bookseller. Now he publishes books. So what's interesting about this is that I wanted an English publisher to do it, and I couldn't get a show with it, which is amazing, because the person that commissioned me, they had several other photographers have shows, before me. So, it had run its course. And, he was more than glad to do it. And, he had a young guy design the book, and I really liked the design. And we discussed a metal cover because we both remember a show that was at the Museum of Modern Art in like 1968 called The Machine.
Right.
And it had a metal cover.
Right.
She wasn't born. Okay.
She
all
was
right.
not born.
When?
Okay. I
68.
was.
Oh yeah, well, she was a chicken. Spring chicken. Wow,
So
this is
anyway,
beautiful. This
he
is
did the
beautiful.
book. And then the biker book is coming out in
But
October.
in Amazon and everything.
Dowie Lewis.
Boys, thank you.
Listen,
Thank
it
you.
was a real inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad I
Good
met
luck
you.
with everything.
And see you next week
Thanks,
in Tzuzamen.
Tzipi.
Thank you,
And see
Tzili.
you next week, everybody. Bye.
That was wonderful.
You
Thank you so
Jerusalem.
much.
Bye.
And now I'm going to get my TikTok, a Kit Kat. Kit Kat.